My husband thought I was just his loyal, naive wife, someone to smile and nod while he lied, cheated, and built his empire on my back. For years, I believed in him, until I found the truth, an affair right under my nose. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I smiled, and I planned. By the time I was done, his multi-million-dollar company was in ruins, and he was begging me for mercy. Want to know how I pulled off the ultimate revenge? Stick around, this story will leave you speechless. Hi everyone, my name is Claire. I'm 28 and I live in Chicago. I'm a business strategist by trade, but today I'm here to share something deeply personal. A story about love, betrayal, and the kind of justice that makes your heart race. If you've ever been lied to, underestimated, or made to feel like you weren't enough, this story is for you. It's raw, it's real, and it's mine. So grab a drink, hit that like button if you believe in karma, subscribe for more stories that'll hit you right in the feels, and let's dive in. This is my revenge story, and trust me, it's unforgettable. I was 22 when I met Daniel, fresh out of Northwestern with a business degree and a head full of dreams. I wanted to build something, maybe my own consultancy, maybe a startup. I was ambitious, but I was also in love. Daniel was 27, the kind of guy who walked into a room and owned it. He had this infectious laugh, these piercing blue eyes that made you feel seen. He ran a small marketing firm, just a few employees, but he had big plans. We're going to take over Chicago, he'd say, and I believed him. We got married 2 years later, in a small ceremony by Lake Michigan. I wore a simple white dress, and Daniel promised to build a life with me. I felt like I was floating. We moved into a sleek high-rise in the Loop, with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the city that made my heart swell. I thought, this is it. This is my happily ever after. But fairy tales don't last. By our second year of marriage, Daniel changed. He was always working late. Client dinners, networking events, trips out of town. His phone buzzed constantly, and he'd angle it away from me, his thought of swiping notifications away too quickly. I'd catch the scent of perfume on his jackets, floral, heavy, expensive. Not my light citrusy scent. My stomach would twist, my palms would sweat, but I'd tell myself I was paranoid. He's just stressed, I'd think. He's building our future. I'd lie in bed, the city lights casting shadows on the ceiling, my heart pounding so loud I thought I'd wake him. Was I crazy? Was I imagining things? But the doubts kept stacking up, heavy as bricks. I wasn't just a stay-at-home wife, though. I had my own career as a freelance business strategist, helping startups refine their pitches and scale their operations. I was good, really good. My clients landed million-dollar deals because of my strategies. But Daniel? He'd smirk when I talked about my work, call it cute, and say, "Don't worry, babe, I've got this." It stung, like a paper cut you don't notice until it burns. Still, I supported him. I stayed up late, proofreading his proposals, suggesting campaign ideas, even connecting him with my contacts. His firm grew from a scrappy startup to a major player in Chicago's marketing scene, and I was proud of us. It was a Tuesday night, just past midnight, when everything shattered. Daniel stumbled in at 2 a.m., his tie loosened, his breath sharp with whiskey and that damn perfume again. He'd left his phone on the kitchen counter and it buzzed, lighting up the dark room. I don't know why I picked it up. Maybe it was the weight of all those sleepless nights, all those ignored instincts. His passcode was still our anniversary. I unlocked it, my hands trembling. The text was from Lauren, his 24-year-old assistant. Last night was incredible. Can't wait to see you again. XOXO. My breath caught in my throat. I scrolled, my fingers numb, through months of messages, flirty banter, late-night plans, photos of them together at hotels, restaurants, places he'd sworn he was meeting clients. One message burned into my brain. Claire's so clueless. She thinks you're working late. My world tilted. My chest felt like it was caving in, my throat so tight I could barely breathe. I wanted to scream, to smash his phone, to wake him up and demand answers. But something else took over, a cold, sharp clarity. He thought I was clueless? I'd show him clueless. The next morning, I made him coffee, my hands steady, even as my heart raced. "Good morning, love," I said, smiling as he kissed my forehead, oblivious. He left for work, whistling, while I sat at our dining table, staring at the city skyline. I didn't cry. I didn't break. I planned. Daniel wasn't just unfaithful. He was arrogant. He'd come home and brag about outsmarting competitors, landing genius deals I'd quietly helped him craft. At dinner parties, he'd interrupt me mid-sentence, saying, "Claire's just passionate about her little projects." His friends would laugh, and I'd force a smile, my nails digging into my palms under the table. One night, I remember, a friend of his asked me, "Friend, Claire, I hear you're killing it with your consulting gigs." Me, smiling. "Yeah, I just helped a startup land a $3 million deal." Daniel, chuckling. "She's exaggerating. It's just a side hustle. Let's talk about my new client, huge account, game changer." Every time he diminished me, it was like a knife twisting deeper. But I swallowed it. I played the part of the supportive wife, all while memorizing every slight, every lie. Lauren was no better. She'd breeze into the Foam's events, all glossy hair and fake smiles, clinging to Daniel's arm. She'd look at me with pity, like I was some pathetic housewife who didn't know her place. The worst part? Everyone else seemed to love them. Daniel, the charismatic CEO, Lauren, the brilliant assistant. They were untouchable, or so they thought. I could have confronted him. I could have thrown his phone in his face, demanded a divorce, and walked away. But that would have been too easy for him. He'd lie, gaslight, maybe even cry and beg for forgiveness. I didn't want his apologies. I wanted him to feel what I felt. Powerless, humiliated, betrayed. I wanted to take away the one thing he loved more than anything. His firm, his legacy. I was a strategist. I'd built businesses from nothing. If anyone could outsmart Daniel, it was me. So I decided to build something bigger than him, something he'd depend on, and then rip it away. Every time I pictured him with her, my blood boiled. But that anger wasn't a weakness, it was power. I'd show him who he'd underestimated. I'd make him regret ever thinking I was clueless. I created Gray Enterprises, a shell company named for its anonymity. Gray, unremarkable, invisible. I used my maiden name, rented a P.O. box, and built a firewall between Claire the wife and Ms. Gray the mogul. I leveraged every contact I'd made in my freelance career. Venture capitalists, tech developers, marketing gurus. My pitch was simple but bold. Gray Enterprises would revolutionize digital marketing with proprietary tech and data-driven campaigns. I remember the pitch meeting clearly. "Investor, Ms. Gray, your numbers are impressive, but this is a crowded market. What makes you different?" Me, leaning forward, voice steady. "We're not just another agency. We've got cutting-edge AI, a lean team, and a vision to dominate. Invest now, and you'll see returns that'll make your head spin. They bought it. Within 4 months, I secured $7 million in funding. I hired a small, brilliant team, people I trusted to keep my identity secret, and worked out of a co-working space across town. I'd come home to Daniel, cook dinner, ask about his day, all while funneling millions into my secret empire. The irony was delicious. He'd brag about his firm's growth, never knowing I was outpacing him. Every contract I signed, every deal I closed, felt like a brick in the wall I was building around him. He was so smug, so sure of himself. I couldn't wait to see his face when it all came crashing down. Then came the masterstroke. I reached out to Daniel's firm as Miss Gray, offering a $3 million contract for a year-long campaign. His team jumped at it, no questions asked. Daniel was over the moon, calling Ms. Gray his golden ticket. Over the next year, I signed more contracts, each bigger than the last. Gray Enterprises became his largest client, accounting for 70% of his revenue. He hired more staff, leased a glitzy new office, bought himself a Porsche, all on my dime. I played my part perfectly. In meetings with his team, I wore a dark wig, glasses, and tailored suits, my voice clipped and professional. My heart would pound as I sat across from his employees, knowing Daniel was one office away. The air in his firm smelled of leather and coffee, and I'd breathe it in, feeling like a spy in enemy territory. I was in his world, his domain. One wrong move, and he'd know. I didn't falter. I couldn't. The night I signed the biggest contract, $5 million for a global campaign, I stood in his office lobby, watching him through the glass walls. He was laughing, his arm around Lauren, his Rolex glinting under the chandelier. My stomach churned, but I gripped my pen tighter, signing Miss Gray with a flourish. The marble floor was cold under my heels, the hum of the city outside a distant roar. I felt like a predator, circling closer, my claws hidden but sharp. To make the fall harder, I encouraged Daniel's recklessness. As Ms. Gray, I suggested he expand, open new offices, hire more staff, take on debt. He didn't hesitate, blinded by greed. His firm was now a house of cards, propped up entirely by Gray Enterprises. I waited, biding my time until every piece was in place. I'd lie awake at night, imagining his face when he realized the truth. Would he scream? Beg? Cry? I didn't care. I just wanted him to feel small, the way he'd made me feel. It took 20 months to build the perfect trap. Gray Enterprises was the lifeblood of Daniel's firm, funding his lavish lifestyle and reckless expansion. Then, on a crisp October morning, I struck. I sent an email from Gray Enterprises canceling every contract. No warning, no explanation. Just a cold, "We're terminating our partnership, effective immediately." I wired back every penny we'd paid, ensuring no legal recourse. By 10 a.m., Daniel's CFO was calling, frantic. By noon, his lawyers were begging for a meeting. I agreed, but only with Daniel himself. I walked into the sleek boardroom, all glass and steel. Daniel sat at the head of the table, confident but tense. His forced smile faltered as he saw me walk in, no disguise. My face calm but fierce. Daniel forcing a smile. "Miss Gray, thank you for coming. I don't understand why you're pulling out. We've delivered everything you asked." Me, voice steady, eyes locked on his. "Oh, Daniel, you really don't know who I am, do you?" Daniel confused. "What are you talking about? Of course Me, stepping closer. "I'm Claire, your wife. The one you lied to, cheated on, and laughed at behind her back. Gray Enterprises, that's me. I built you up, Daniel, and now I'm tearing you down. Pause. He exploded. This isn't possible, he shouted, his voice cracking. You can't do this. You're lying. But I wasn't. I slid a folder across the table. Contracts, emails, proof that Gray Enterprises was mine. His team stared, horrified, as the truth sank in. His empire was crumbling, and I was the architect of its ruin. My heart raced, but not from fear. It was triumph, pure and electric. I wasn't a broken wife anymore. I was Claire, the woman who'd outsmarted him. The fallout was swift. Without Gray Enterprises, his firm couldn't pay its debts. Investors fled, clients canceled, and vendors filed lawsuits. His fancy office was shuttered, his Porsche repossessed. Lauren, she quit the next day, leaving him to face the wreckage alone. His reputation, his precious legacy, was ash. I walked out of that boardroom, my heels echoing on the marble floor. The city skyline stretched before me, glittering through the windows. I didn't look back. Looking back, I don't regret a single step. Daniel thought he could betray me and walk away unscathed, but he forgot who I was. I wasn't just his wife. I was a strategist, a dreamer, a woman who refused to be broken. This wasn't about revenge for revenge's sake. It was about reclaiming my power, proving to myself that I was enough. Justice doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it's quiet, calculated, and sharper than any blade. If my story teaches you anything, it's this. Never underestimate someone who's been hurt. They might just rewrite the rules. Wow, what a ride, right? If this story gave you chills or made you pump your fist, smash that like button and drop a comment. What's the most satisfying revenge story you've ever heard? Or maybe you've got your own tale of karma. Spill it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for more real-life stories that'll keep you hooked. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay fierce.